Well, good morning, one and all. Happy Sunday. Welcome to the world today, folks. Hope you're all doing well. Hey, Uncle Dave, good to see you over there. Elderberry, nice to see you. Thanks for the wake-up call 2 minutes ago. I was awake. Just making coffee, wandering around, getting ready for the day. And getting ready to come down here, actually. Hey, Steph, good morning to you. Hello, she says. My coffee is still so hot that I can't drink it yet. I had to take the lid off. Hot coffee. And, I'm making it in the old percolator nowadays. I like it that way. And it stays and it boils. So it's boiling hot coffee by the time it's in my cup. Hey, Randall, good to see you this morning. And Matthew Sainsbury, good to see you as well. Matthew's from Barbados. Randall's from Pennsylvania. I think you're in Pennsylvania still. Anyway. And so good morning and welcome to one and all. My wife, Raini, is up and around, and she's got to run the kid to some volleyball stuff, so she might make an appearance before she does that. And Morgan Snow, good morning. Good to see you. Carlene, good to see you. I saw your hiking video. That looked awfully nice. And so I hope everybody's doing well this morning. I hope you're alive and awake. Kevin Miller, good to see you, Kevin Miller. Nice to have you in here. And Susie Q, good to see you this morning. And Grumpy Stack is in the room, it looks like. I missed him. There he is. He's way up top. Hi, Sunday morning with Just Raini. It says, so I wondered where she was. So it's good to have you all here this morning. You know, what I hate about walking around my house in my bare feet, which I'm barefoot now. I do have pants on, though. But walking around in my house with my 3 children and Rainey and I constantly following them around and cleaning up after them, not because they can't do it, it's just because they don't and they're oblivious to it. I'm like, do you guys realize that your house can be picked up? The one that you live in, the one you enjoy? Well, anyway, walking around barefoot in my house, I always get some kind of little speck of something stuck in the bottom of my foot. Now, not like penetrating the skin or anything like that by that stuck in the bottom of my foot, but just I'm walking around and I start going down the steps and I hit that thing, whatever it is, like a grain of cereal or a bit of crud of some kind, and I got to reach down and try to and it's even worse. You don't feel yourself stepping on it, but you feel it as you're walking on it. So, and my feet are sensitive. So walking around in the kitchen where they've dropped stuff or wherever it might be, and so I came into the studio this morning. I'm like, yeah, damn it, what's on the bottom of my foot again? I don't know what it was, but I had to scrape it off, whatever it was. So I hate that. I hate walking around in the dark. If I have to get up in the middle of the night and I walk through the house and you step on, the old cliche, stepping on a Lego, a little Lego piece, one of those little corner pieces or connector pieces, and you step on it. Drives me through the ceiling. And, that's worse pain than other things. I could lose an arm and it would probably hurt worse. Less. Hey, Allison, good to see you. So welcome everybody that's here. Good to have you here this morning. I have no agenda, no plan, no particular thing I want to talk about. Sunday mornings are kind of, it's not the end of the week. It's the beginning of the week. Sunday's the first day of the week. And so it's just my, let's not be formal on Sundays. It's even a little less formal than the Captain's Cabin, our after show during the week. And so those of you who might be new here, those of you who maybe don't know what we do exactly on Sunday mornings is the time where we can just talk and hang out for a little bit. I've got, let's see, what's going on today? I've got a couple of things of work-related items to finish up for finally, I think our website for Patriot Propaganda is going to launch tomorrow. It was going to be Friday, and we were missing a ton of graphics and prices on things. And so our IT guy is working through all of that this weekend. Yeah, Doug is very, very new here. Grumpy Stack. He's so new. He smells like Utarian fluid. Mm. You could spray him off and make a afterbirth shake. So, I've got things to do, but my wife, taking the kid to, I think it's photography pictures today for volleyball, team pictures. Flynn is off at a friend's house overnight. Kids like to do that. Sometimes this household hosts 5 kids at a time that all the different kids have sleeping over for their sleepovers. We'll have, 8 kids in the house. And other times it's kind of nice and quiet because they go other places. So Rowan went around the corner to a friend's house overnight last night. Flynn, I had to drive him there about 15 miles, well, not quite, 5 miles from here, and at his friend's house. And so it's just Ellery eager to please. So yeah, Grumpy Stack smells like new tires. That's a good smell. That's always nice when you get new tires. You like to stand outside and just look at your car. Those are my new tires. See that? Those are my grumpy tires. So I don't have grumpy tires on my car. He's too far away to drive for tires for me. But next time I'm down in Louisiana, Doug, I may stop in and get a set. And so tomorrow is our big launch for Patriot Propaganda apparel. And we're hoping for good things off of that. If you haven't had a chance to see what that is yet, I think you can visit the website and just take a peek. Let's see. Yeah, I got it right here. Let's see. I can copy this link and you can see what's going on over there. It doesn't officially launch until tomorrow, where it goes out to millions of people, literally. And so you can go take a look at that if you want to look at it, see what I'm talking about. I don't know if that link works there. You can copy it and paste it, though. Randall says, oh my God, you're right about that. Worse. You talking about stepping on Legos? Yeah. That's rough pain, especially when you're not expecting it. So, anyway, how's everybody this morning? What? And you can call into the show if you want to. The link is in the description below. We can talk about what you want to talk about. We can talk about Joe Biden in Ireland. We can talk about the, is it the energy secretary of Biden's? Was talking about oil and all of that. And you know how you look serious? You put on a yellow hard hat and goggles and sit in a factory and talk about oil. Oh, she's serious. She knows her shit. She's wearing a hard hat. So will the tumblers be for sale on the website? No, that's a totally different company. That's my wife's company. We did take down her website. We found that all of her sales for her tumblers were from other places, and we didn't make a single sale off the website itself. But her business has thrived, quote unquote, has done a fair amount of sales, but none of them from the website. And we were putting out, $35 a month on a website. And so we just put it into retirement for a while. We're going to see how she does keep going on the way she's doing. So let's see. What's plagiarized? Matthew Sainsbury, did you plagiarize something? Or Joe in Ireland is plagiarization? Joe's in Ireland. Yeah. Wow. Wow. He's in Ireland embarrassing the hell out of America. So go watch him. And I have to ask the question again. Why is he in office? Why has he not been removed from office? Is it because in America we just don't do that? We'll want to remove somebody from office or prevent them from getting in office because of all kinds of stupid things that you see that have been going on for the last 6 years, 7 years. but a guy who is not fit for the office. And I don't mean that from a political point of view. I'm not being nasty. He's just not fit for the office. Why is he there? Why do they keep him there? Because he can be used and controlled by the people that are around him. Hey, Josh Kemp, good to see you this morning. Glad you're here this morning. I keep trying to sip off of my boiling hot coffee, hoping that it's less boiling each time. I wouldn't say remove, I'd say retire from service. Yeah, you can call it what you want. Removal. There is the 25th Amendment that says that you can remove a president if he's unfit for office. And it's not meant to be a negative, we're going to remove him. It's meant to be, he's being removed from office because he cannot serve. He cannot do a good job. I'd have more. I'd be happier to have Joe Biden in full state of mind, and I could disagree with his politics and his political ideology from that point of view. But frankly, we don't even know if we're getting the real Joe Biden and his political ideology. He's doing what he's told to do. So there you go. Do you mean like narcissists, Scotty? Yeah, like that. Steph. And manipulators? Yeah, like that. So, exactly. So, nope, said Randall Flagg. So, Andrew Johnson was nearly done. Richard Nixon was the one who stepped down. Yeah, Richard Nixon stepped down to save the country from a problem. And when you think about it, what did Richard Nixon do? I'll bet you he would have remained in office if all he had said at the very beginning was to come in and say, I have to speak to the American people. I want you to know there's all these accusations flying around. Some of my people, not at my behest, broke into a campaign office to look for files. That's all it amounted to. And I think if he had come out and said, this shouldn't have been done, we're going to take some action against those people, even though they're my people that did it, I'll bet you he would have sat out his full term. And yeah, there's a handful of senators that need to resign for health issues. Yeah, there are. There's one that was just elected after having a stroke in this last campaign, the last election. Yeah, Watergate, Matthew Sainsbury. You look at why Nixon got in trouble for Watergate, pales in importance and severity to a million other things going on ever since then, and behind the scenes, I'm sure. Yep, Fetterman. Interesting. He got elected, but there he is. It's what the people wanted, right? So I don't know why they think that he's doing something good for their state. Maybe because he'll do what he's told as well. What else is going on? We watched Watergate when I was little. Me too. I didn't follow it super closely. That all happened when I was, 11, 12 years old, something like that. And I do remember seeing Nixon resign on television. I think I was 13 or 14 when that happened. I watched the end of the Vietnam War when I was around the same age, where they called it quits finally. The evacuation from Saigon. Josh, as Nixon would have been reelected easily. There was no need to in the break-in. No, it was stupid. And it's what happens, though. It's what happens in politics. Yeah, Fetterman's been on medical leave 13 months out of the 15 he's been in office. Are you talking about Fetterman? He hasn't been in office for 15 years. Or 15 months. He just got elected in November. Who are you talking about? Grumpy. I missed something along the way there. Uncle Dave said, I watched all of that too. Yeah, it was all there. I wasn't as interested in politics when I was 11 and 12 and 13. Let's see, if I was watching it, Dave, you were what, 4? Dave was into politics very young. Matthew says Jimmy Carter knew about the zero curse when Ronald Reagan was running for president. Jimmy was supposed to have said he'll serve his country regardless what the fates allow. Ronald Reagan was hit by the curse but survived. So maybe it wasn't a curse at all. I think some weird dude who thought he could impress a 14-year-old actress thought it would be really cool to shoot the president and that she'd really love him after that. That's the way that kind of mind works. Biden didn't tell Fetterman's wife she was going to be great in Congress. Well, Biden tell Fetterman's wife she was going to be great in Congress? I don't know. I don't remember that. Yeah. Needless to say, Jodie Foster did not fall in love with Chapman. So, there it's going. It's getting to be a temperature where I can drink it. Can't quaff it, but I can drink it. So, what else is going on this morning? It feels like I have so much going on, but it's really revolving around just a couple of big things that I'm involved with. So, I can't stop talking about patriot propaganda. Yeah, it's a business. Yeah, we're promoting it. Yeah, it's to make money. Of course, we're capitalists. But it also is something that's pushing forward beliefs that we have and things that we agree with. And it's all done. It's T-shirts. It's another T-shirt design company. But as we were told by some people that have been in the T-shirt and paraphernalia type of companies like that have risen up over the last 30 years, he said, this is some of the best stuff I've ever seen out there. And he thinks it's going to do very well. And so if you go take a look, you can see the kinds of things we're going to be pumping over there. We only got 5-6 shirts that are that we're starting off with. And it's to pump those, and we'll keep adding to it. But you'll see what's out there. And I think you'll enjoy that. Let's see. Steph says he did. They caught it on tape. Let's see. What was that now? They caught it on tape at I think a rally for him. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Steph. I must have said something, or somebody said something in the chat that you saw that clip too. Oh, the Biden talking to Fetterman's wife. Yeah. Got to tell you, Feinstein should be jailed for crimes against the country. Yeah. I agree with you, Elderberry. It'll never happen, you know. You only jail people for paying off hookers or porn stars, or, you know, whatever the perceived infraction is. That's what's important. Now Georgia is rattling chains about filing some kind of suit against indicting Trump for election campaign fraud in Georgia. I mean, it's not going to end. They're just trying to prevent him from running. Why do you think they want to prevent him from running so bad? What do you think on that? Politics aside, your opinions on who you think is right or bad. What do you think is the motivation behind wanting to prevent Trump from running again? Is it because they believe that he will destroy the country? No. It's because they won't be in power if he does. Kevin Miller says we had a few inches of snow overnight. Did you get any in your neck of the woods? Kevin, where are you exactly? You're not still in the Minneapolis area, are you? Twin Cities area, Minnesota. We got snow in the air last night. It's just wet outside. Remember, interesting thing, it was in the 80s all this last week. We hit a couple of days in 90s. And then this morning, it's like 38 degrees. And there was snow in the air. That's our bipolar spring kicking in. Minnesota, Wisconsin. Let's see. Yeah, they can't control him. Trump's going to call him out, says Susie Q. We were at 91 on Friday here in Massachusetts, says Steph. Yeah, it's been really warm. Now I hear Massachusetts is going to get cold again for a couple of days, just like us. Elderberry says deranged. Yeah, exactly. Matthew says Canada had a major ice storm that cut off power for Quebec and Montreal. And I will end my days in Montreal. Good old song by Tanglefoot, by the way. About a World War I vet, Vemy. It's called Vemy. Look that up. Tanglefoot and Vemy. Tight harmonies, a cappella. Done. Tanglefoot they disbanded now years ago now, but when Dave and I were in the regiment, our Scottish reenactment group, French and Indian War, we'd go to the rendezvous and do the rendezvous circuit. And at the Big Island rendezvous, we always had Tanglefoot they hired. They're a Canadian folk band. And they would do all these songs that, fit very well into the rendezvous circuit and historical. And they had a song, though, called Vimy, V-I-M-Y. I think I said V-E-M-Y. V-I-M-Y, Vimy, for Vimy Ridge, which I prominently mention in The Sword and the Clay, by the way, Vimy Ridge. And that is where, or in that song, it's about an old guy that's a vet from World War I, and he talks about his friends that died in the war, and it's 3 friends, and 2 friends, the 3 of them, and the chorus was he had one of his friends was a Native American. They called him Chief, he said, and he was from Kenora, Minnesota, up on the reservation there. And then he had another friend, Jimmy, who was American, but they were all young men, and the 2 of them died in the song. He sings about that, tells the story of them, and let's see, Vimy Ridge. That's where Will Bird's brother saved his life. Yeah, that's right. In the book, The Sword and the Clay. And by the way, if you don't have your copy, you can still get it. It's available over on my website. I might as well show it. It's sitting over here. The Sword and the Clay. And it's the song, it's the story of Will Bird finding the old Roman sword. He was a Canadian Black Watch soldier in World War I. But there was this scene in the book, and he writes about it in his own book, in his memoirs, about how the ghost of his brother, the spirit of his brother, saved his life at Vimy Ridge. How he'd been sleeping, and in the middle of the night, he felt 2 warm hands grab his hands and pull him to his feet. And he looks, and it's his brother, who had died almost 2 years prior in the war, who said, "Follow me." They were in the trenches at Vimy. And he follows him. He's like, wait. And he grabs his gear, and his brother's walking through the trenches ahead of him, turns into a tunnel, and Steve follows him in there, and he's nowhere to be found. And he finds out several minutes later that he fell asleep leaning against the wall with all his gear over his shoulder, and finds out that, I see you there, Carlene. Hang on a second, and I'll bring you in. And he finds out that the trench where he'd been sleeping had been bombed, and his other mates that were in that trench with him were all dead. And as a matter of fact, Steve Bird, or Will Bird, wrote his memoirs about his experiences in the war, called Ghosts Have Warm Hands. And it was based on that story. This is the illustration I did of that scene where he's sleeping in the trenches, and he feels the 2 warm hands pull him to his feet, and he notices, you can see there, he notices it's his brother who had died almost 2 years prior. So that's The Sword in the Clay. You can go to theswordintheclay.com if you want to get that book. But that's what we were talking about. Anyway, hi, Carlene. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
Right on.
I wanted to bring up a couple things real quick, and
Yes,
it's really
yes, ma'am.
weird. It's really weird you're showing your drawings. After you got off Val's show last night, I was talking to her, and we're like, well, maybe he is the one who can finally draw that picture. I said, well, then maybe I'm the one that's got to figure out exactly how to describe it. So I may be reaching out to you in the future for that. It's really odd you were showing that your drawings today.
That's yeah.
The other thing you said you saw the video. That's where we had that weird experience last year. I talked about it on KB show.
Oh yeah.
Where some of your guests wouldn't know. We were up there. We'd gone up there many times, and a friend of ours who does the water sampling locally had said that there was a turkey had been killed up there, and I'm like, no wonder, fish or cat, bobcat type thing up there.
Yeah.
So we went up a few days later when I was off and found one of the feathers. And me, I'm one of these, oh, well, the feather ain't going to hurt anything. If I see something that's really cool, I pick it up. I mean, I'm just one of those. Walking along, you got to pick it up. After I picked that feather up, I swear to God, and even my husband was with me, something followed us around that trail. I mean, it wasn't like right behind us or something, but you could hear something walking off to the side of us. And we stopped several times, because we're like, oh, well, whatever it is, probably wants to, who knows, whatever. Hoping we could catch a glimpse of whatever was following us. We never did. Anytime we would stop, it was dead silent up there.
Oh, my.
I mean, and like I said, when you can clearly hear footsteps of something. Yes. And like I said, I talked about it on KB show. We got back to the car, and I didn't post that yesterday because I got thinking, and then I said, oh, shoot, I forgot to get a picture of that, but I was running a little bit late, and I had to be to work. It's a little bit of a dip, kind of a bank, which if something stood back from it, you wouldn't be able to see it. But the noise that emitted the growl, the noise was like, whoa.
Oh, my. So you heard the growl and everything.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it made the hairs on your arm stand up. It was like, what the heck was that? Now I've spent many times in the woods. Grew up in the woods. I never heard anything like that.
Well, weird.
Yesterday we heard something. I'm guessing it was some type of bird. We never saw it. Like I said, as we got closer, we rounded the bog. It was eerily, like I said, it's just weird. It gets eerily silent.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It seems like an odd spot for something to be, but who knows? Because it's not like a lot of land there, and then behind it, I've discovered is a whole bunch of solar panels.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could have been a person following us, but it didn't feel like a person. I mean, it just didn't. It didn't feel like a person. And if it was a person, why did it stay hidden and stop when we stopped walking?
Right. Well, so nothing ever came of that. You never quite figured out what was going on with that.
I don't think we ever made it back up there last summer, because of things going on with my health and stuff. So no, we never figured out what was going on. So yesterday was actually the first time we went up since it had happened. And I'm like, of course, lots of leaves down. Right. One thing we did see is, I don't know if you noticed in the second video, there's 2 trees that have that wicked arch.
I just got to see them really quickly, and I didn't get to.
Yeah. Well, in the second video, there's 2 trees that are arched. One, I'm guessing because of the looks of the land, was made that way by other trees coming down. Which there was a lot of tree damage, but there's one behind it, and it's like, wow, I wonder how that thing got kind of bent in like a big old arch over the walk. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. So it's going to be one of our investigating spots this summer.
I guess. Now, do you go on many regular types of investigations?
I don't. Like I said on KB show, I haven't been. Bigfoot was kind of one of those things. Yeah, I was on the fence.
Yeah.
I kind of believed in it, kind of didn't. It's kind of one of those things. Well, I spent a lot of time in the woods, and after talking to you guys and watching a lot of videos and especially the Expedition Bigfoot, I'm like, well,
show.
there is something there. And then there's a guy who I believe I showed you the picture of the cast of foot like you got. He lived not too far from where I grew up. And I watched a couple of his videos and I'm like, wait a minute, that's where I grew up. That was our stomping grounds. That's where we were in the woods with the horses all the time or on foot.
Right.
So, back then there was, you didn't think of things like that, I guess, or we didn't, because, we were, old farm hands, and I don't know, maybe my grandfather didn't believe in it, or maybe he just never talked about it. So yeah, this is something fairly new to me. I'm not one of these that have been, chasing them around for years, but it's like, well, now this is kind of interesting.
That's very interesting. Yeah. So I would like to hear more about if you guys go back up there and do something. Now, do you have a group that you do stuff with? Or do you go poking around, or do you have equipment, or do you do?
No. We're just kind of we're just kind of novices at it. We do have a couple of friends up in Unity, which is not too far from us, and he also lives around a bog marsh type thing. And
you're Vermont, right? By the way,
yeah.
Steph is asking.
Oh, yep. Can't see comments. Sorry. Yeah, we have friends up in Unity and they live around quite a marsh, and it's got a couple old mines and stuff, and so we're going to hook up with them quite a bit this summer and go in and take a look. He's a little more versed in it than we are. Don't have equipment or anything. Just kind of go out with our cameras and our recorders and just have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something Raini and I are talking about. We want to start doing. We haven't done investigations together for a couple of years. She and I mean, just going around and doing investigation work. And we did it with Rocky when he was here. I don't know if do you even know who Rocky Stucci is?
No, I've seen him on your show a couple times. Yeah.
We used to do radio together. He does radio. He's got a big show down in Texas. And now he relocated to Texas, Minnesota boy. And so we used to do political talk radio. Then we called it ADHD radio, meaning we got a topic, but we'll veer off at any moment for any reason. Squirrel, And so
that's exactly what I was doing. I was throwing the squirrel a walnut, and he's like, well, I don't know if I want that yet or not.
Right. So, but yeah. So we did a lot of investigating. The last investigation we all did together, the three of us, we did an old house in Minneapolis that was turned into like an Al-Anon club type of a thing for AA, and they had lots of activity in there. And we also had we did the old barber shop in town with I've talked about Floyd the Barber, our own Floyd the Barber, and that he had ghosts in his basement there. An old basement, 100-year-old building, little building there, and we had stuff. That's one where we had something coming through the voice spirit box that said to Raini, we were looking for a particular guy, the old owner, maybe somebody who had been in that building before, and we were getting all kinds of blips and voices and things, and we set it up in the old 60-year-old barber chair and set up some light equipment and some voice equipment, and the voice came through. Rainey's asking, are you around us today? Would you like to come and talk to us? And a man's voice comes through the spirit box and goes exactly like this. He goes, how you doing? And Rocky and I started laughing. We started laughing. We go, hey, Mr. Ghost, at least you have good taste. So
there you go.
But we've had that before. We've had ghosts that flirt with some of our female investigators. Old Theater in St. Paul, the Mounds Theater. The projectionist, there was a whole story about him, and probably a little bit of mythos built around him. But we had Lisa, who was a member of our team, and she was she's very attractive, blonde, and he's up there, and things coming through the spirit box were like sexy, it would say. Sexy. And flirting with her. And so that was very interesting stuff. So
I'm not too much into the ghosts. I know we have a few places. We had one. If you look it up, it's common to a lot of people. It's the Waterbury State Hospital.
Which state hospital?
It's been closed. A lot of the Waterbury, Vermont. It's in Waterbury, Vermont.
Oh, okay.
It's an old state hospital for the criminally insane. A lot of it has been torn down now because of the big flood.
Right.
Back, can't remember where, but I guess some of it still exists, and there's a lot of activity there. They did if I can find it, I'll send it to you. This guy did a video. Okay. He was in. He went in after the flood to see what he could retrieve for the water things. Where they take the water bottles in and see how many of the machines he could retrieve from the upper floors.
Right.
And it was the experience he had. I mean, he came out of there like as white as a ghost. And it's like, he said, it was scary. He says, you don't want to go in there. And he says, I had one, and he said, I left it. And he says, I will not go back in and get them.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we've always, like I said, that wasn't too far from where I grew up, maybe about a half hour, a little more. And we always heard horror stories about the place. And I guess it was pretty horrible place. And like I said, they house some pretty, what's the appropriate term? They house some pretty rough people there.
Oh, really? Like what?
And,
what are you talking?
I don't know many of the names that were there, and like I said, it's been a while. But like I said, they were. I said these guys were ones that, back in, we're talking. Some of the original ones were ones that, I mean, came from out of state, that they were just so out of it that, like I said, they were deemed criminally insane, and they committed a lot of murders, and it's like, oh my God, but they claim they experimented on them there, and now their spirits are still stuck there.
Oh my.
And like I said, I've gone up, I've been up by the building, I've been outside the building, and something's going on there. It's just, you get this vibe even being anywhere near where portions of the building used to be. Yeah. Anywhere you get, like I said, where the building used to be, it's like, yeah, this is not a good feeling. I don't want to be here.
Right. So, what do you think about that? I hear some investigators, and I hear them talk about getting that feeling. How much do you think when we go into those places is the feeling that we're prepared to be spooked out? We're prepared to be our mind's kind of already set on it. It's a psychological thing. Is the freak factor comes from the psychology of it more than the actual feel, or is it the pictures we put in our mind about what is supposed to be spooky, what looks spooky, what feels spooky? Is that what creates that feeling? Do you think it's always external, or a lot of that is internal, that we build it up in our own?
I think it's a little of both. I mean, like with the hospital there, they say, everybody knows there's freaky stuff going on there, and
right.
But I don't know. Like I said, so I've got to find the video, and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
The stuff this guy experienced, he says, I went in there. He says he wasn't anybody who even. I believe he said he didn't believe in that kind of stuff. He said, he was a little spooked because it was an old hospital.
Right.
Like I said, the way he came out of there, I don't think that's something you could even put in your mind. you can put stuff in your mind, but he just said the faces that came to him, and he said they were not normal. They just were. There was
Right.
just like this was a big dude, and you would think, oh well, they aren't going to be scared. He was, like I said, he told them, he called his boss. He said, I ain't going back in there.
Right.
And it was not too long after that they leveled a good portion of the building.
Oh my.
So of course, you can't get in there now. You can't get in there now because it's leveled. But like I said, just being in the vicinity, because they made a little park. Just being in that area, it's just something doesn't feel right. I can't explain it. It's like, okay, I don't like this place. I'm not going to be here.
Right. Right.
I mean,
I've been to
like
some
I said,
places
it's a
like that.
beautiful park now. Anybody who would just go there would not even think anything of it. But it's like,
I've been to places like that where you go, okay, yeah, I don't know if I really want to be here.
Yeah.
So, well.
But no, it's like I said, Vermont's got a few spooky places. We haven't been to them. Like I said, as far as the Bigfoot thing, that's I don't know. I kind of was always on the fence on it till recently. We got into it a little more in the last probably 2-3 years. Like I said, last summer really was like, oh my word.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
there are some places I like to say, and I've said it before, I like to say that there's not much that scares me, but I can be, you get your spidey senses tingling.
It did. Like I said, that growl was like, oh, I mean, it wasn't really scary. It was like, okay, what is that? And I probably don't want my back to it.
And I've thought about that. If I were ever to see a shadow person in front of me or during an investigation in a house, something peeking around the corner, would I rush toward it? I would like to think I would, that I'd rush toward it. I suppose you don't always know if it's something supernatural or if it's something physical. Somebody's in your house. Man, what do you do in that? But if you see something, you immediately perceive that it's something that's supernatural. Do you walk toward it or do you run? And that's I think as an investigator, I would like to think that I would step toward it and I would approach it and say, who are you? I see you over there. Do you want to talk to me? Why are you in my house? What are you? Who are you? Or do we get so freaked out that we run from it? I've seen some things. I've never quite seen a full apparition or anything, or a shadow person, in that full sense. I know Britt Griffith and I. Britt is he was formerly with Ghost Hunters, 10, 12 years ago, and he's now part of the outfit I'm with Jimmy Johnson, and they do some investigations out west and out east, things that are outside of my realm of traveling to, and but he and I were at Eastern State Penitentiary in Pennsylvania, and it was during an event, and we were leading groups of people through certain aspects of this old prison it was like the spokes of a wheel, the central hub, and then all the whatever they call them, there's a word for it, the different sections of the prison. And there was the old section with the old doors, and there were no lights down there, but you know how your eyes can adjust to the dark, and sometimes you can see things. And he says, Scotty, come here. He says, look down there. He says, watch. He says, I'm seeing in several of the old doors that date back 150 years. He says, I'm seeing heads popping out and looking at shadowy heads. And so we stood there and we stared for a minute, and you could see going all the way down that hall. You could see out of certain doors, you'd see a head pop out, pop back in, another one over on this side, and you'd see that all the way down the hallway. So it was pretty interesting. Hey, Ken Bellows. Kenny B. Bellows is with us. How you doing, Ken? Good Sunday morning to Scotty Roberts and friends around the table. So you should call in. Don't be
Yeah,
afeared.
it's interesting. There you go. Yeah, don't be feared. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I have had, I guess, probably what you would call shadow people. I'll be sitting in my living room, and I swear to God, it's a shadow walks across the doorway in my house, and I'm like, okay.
Right.
I know the first time it happened, I was probably about 16, 15, 16 maybe, and I was half asleep. I know I was awake because I was like, oh God, I don't know. I just had this weird feeling, and we were having trouble with the wood stove that night. And so I was kind of half in, half out, and everybody said, oh no, you just dreamed it. And we had dogs, and you could tell when a dog walks across the floor. It's tip tap, tip tap, tip tap. You know, you hear clearly in the night. You'll hear, you know. And I finally opened my eyes because I'm like, who the heck's out here walking around? And that's the only time I actually saw a person in full figure, and it was my great Grammy. And of course, the first time it ever happened, I freaked out, covered my head, and it didn't happen for a long time.
Well, it's our natural reaction. It's something we don't understand and don't know.
No, it's like when it happens here. As I've said, I know my grandmother's here. I'm not sure who the other person is. My husband's relatives used to own the house, and they both passed on. And his cousin says, I think it's probably my dad, happy that somebody's living in the house, fixing it up. But it's never shows me who it is. It's just a figure.
Right.
And as far as going to it, and I just sit there and I'm like, okay, if you got something to say, come to me and say it. Because I always think, if I get out and move, maybe maybe I'll freak it out. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? But
right.
Like I said, the paranormal is weird. And what I spoke of last night, it just, like I said, I think that opened up my mind to more because I know it happens a lot more. It happened that one time with my great Graham. Freaked me out. So I'm guessing they didn't come to me with messages because they knew I wasn't ready or I'd freak out.
Sure.
Like I said, after that incident several years ago with the angel, it was like, now it's like, okay, you're here. Good. Once it started again, it kind of spooked me a little, like, didn't really scare me, but kind of like, oh, wait, here we go again.
Right.
Kind of got my senses up, like, okay, what's going on? Am I really seeing this?
Am I really seeing this? Yes.
But it's happened since we've been in the house since 2014, and it's happened more than, I'm guessing, more than 100 times.
Sure.
So it's like, okay, this is not me imagining this. This is somebody bringing a message. They're just not clearly able to state their message or show themselves in full person or whatever.
Yes.
Who knows?
Who knows? And you never know. There's so much stuff out there we just don't understand. So, I hate to be so cliche by saying that, but
oh no, it's true. I mean, you don't. Like I said, when I saw one of my grandmother's dogs, I could tell you exactly which one it was. It was her last dog, who was Lily. The day before she died. The day after she died, I saw her dog Gizmo, who was a Yorkie. Both small dogs. Everybody said, well, how do you know it weren't the same dog? Well, her rat terrier was a little bigger than a Yorkie. I mean, when animals come, you can clearly tell what they are. When people are coming, I can't. So apparently I'm not completely in tune to it. And who knows? Maybe I never will be, and it'll just always be shadows. But it's pretty cool.
It is very cool. It's very cool when you see that stuff and get to experience it.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna hop off. I gotta have my breakfast.
Arlene,
but I wanted to bring that up. And like I said, I've been rattling around in my brain last night. I said I gotta come up just how to describe this because I want a picture, but it's just a matter of trying to describe something is almost indescribable.
Mm-hmm.
But
now, by the way, in that figure, you said it was light. Did it have human form, or was it just
did.
the light source?
It didn't have a clear face, but it was definitely, you could see a face
Okay.
and the body, but it was more the wings, and
Right.
it just was. It was just. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, okay. I sat there in amazement. Everybody said, "Oh, you dreamed it." I said, "No, I was wide awake," because I said I pinched myself.
Right.
um, I said that the wings were just millions and millions of just glowing. The light. It was more like a glow than a light.
Sure.
It just was like kind of like the kid who went to heaven. What was that? 15 minutes in heaven or 90 minutes in heaven.
I
The
never
kid there.
saw that. A little doc on that, wasn't it?
Yeah. He couldn't draw the picture. He couldn't get anybody to draw the picture of
Draw
who
it to
he
make it
saw
look right.
to make it look right. And then
You know,
he met
drawing
this.
something like that, it's you draw it, being an artist and an illustrator.
Yeah.
It would seem to me they would all be light tones. It would all have to do with how the light's perceived in the painting or the drawing or the watercolor, whatever you're
Yeah.
using.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and he found, like I said, that's a good show to watch. It's about a young boy who actually died and came back, and he said he was in heaven.
yeah,
And I believe him. And he couldn't. He kept trying to get people to draw the picture of who he saw at where he said in heaven it was Jesus, and it turned out that there was a young, maybe English girl, Scottish girl who had the same experience, and
sure.
she drew the picture. They didn't know each other, never met. When they met, he said, "That is who I saw."
Interesting.
I said it's a good book, good movie, very very enlightening. People say, "Oh well, that's fake." I'm like, "Well, you can think it's fake. That kid went somewhere, something happened."
Yeah.
Like I said, if you ever get a chance to see it, it's really, like I said, it's a movie or quick book you can read. I read the book and also saw the movie. I can't really say which is better, the book or the movie.
Well,
But it
that's
was, it's
right. What was that? There was some documentary I saw once on the kid who said that the little kid who said he had lived a past life. As we've seen a couple of those, but there was one very famous case where this kid thought that he was a World War II pilot or who had been killed, shot down.
Oh yes, I've heard of that one. But this one was, he was in a car accident, or no, he wasn't. Something. His father was a preacher. In this one, it was 90 Minutes in Heaven, and had a pendant, and he literally died. And they brought him back, and I said, "What this kid's got to say?" He actually he's grown now, and actually, I guess, goes around the world preaching what he saw to other people. That's
Right.
like a whoa.
Yeah. That's just crazy.
But yeah, as far as you're saying, yeah, it's more of it would have to be light, because it was just so much light emitting from this thing. And I call it an angel. Call me crazy.
You're crazy.
It was so
I
much
aim to
light
please.
emitting from this that it glowed. I mean, it's so impossible to say. Like I said, there was a figure, you could see a figure, but you couldn't really see a face or anything. But you could see the figure. But the wings were what stood out. The millions and millions of feathers, and they just glowed and sparkled, and reminds me of what it kind of reminds me of, talking about it, is right after a fresh snow, and the sun comes out, that nice little sparkle you get on the snow.
Yes.
Like millions of diamonds.
Yes. So now that's interesting. That would be fun to paint. You know what I would do with something like that? I would probably incorporate some digital design in it as well. I do that with a lot of paintings. I will go in and I'll do a painting in watercolor. It's like all the paintings in this book. They're this front cover painting. I would go in when I was done with the painting and I would say, oh, there's something I don't like, or I painted the sword tip. I had it too squared off and I didn't like that. And I didn't want to change it in the watercolor by messing with the art. So I just scanned it, imported into Photoshop, and you do some digital retouching. You can do a lot of lighting effects, which I've used for doing illustrations for clients where I want to spruce up the lighting a little bit. And I'm trying to see if I've got a picture in here that kind of matches what I'm talking about. Like this. Okay, this is the scene at the beginning of the book where Steve or Will Bird has that vision of his brother dying. He was out working in the wheat fields and he sees his brother in full uniform. And so I didn't like the way it turned out in watercolor. So I imported the watercolor painting and I did some glowy effects and things on his brother. Probably the best example in this book is at the end of the book. Now there's this Roman gladius. And in the book, of course, it's all about finding this Roman sword. They had no idea who the sword belonged to. So while the story's true about Will Bird, I created a fictional Roman centurion whose sword it was. And I did this picture at the very end of the book where you see Will Bird and he's got the sword. Boy, it doesn't translate well on the video there, but I've got the Roman centurion. They're standing in the wheat field and you see the glowing effects.
I was going to say, yeah, it's got that glow about it.
That stuff, I added like this circular glow. I did the glow in watercolor and painting, and it was a little flat, and I brought it into Photoshop, and I just enhanced it in there. So that's the kind of thing you can do. And it's still my illustration work. I'm doing digital enhancing on top of the watercolor. Maybe that makes me not a fine artist. It makes me a commercial artist. But so that's the kind of stuff we can do. We can do things like that. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to go have breakfast. My husband made pancakes while I was sitting here jabbering.
Right on.
Okay. See you later.
Charlene, thanks for calling in.
Yep. Bye.
Right. I'll see you later. Bye. All right. I got to see if I can load something up here. And we'll see if it works. There it is. Oh, it's going to load. Okay. Oh, how about that? Nope, it doesn't work. All right. That's all right. Let's see. Steph says, my dad told me a few weeks ago he was asleep in bed and suddenly felt as if something or someone crawled into bed with him. He was laying in his dude. And whatever it was, put a leg on top of his leg in a spooning position. He felt, in a sense, it was trying to violate him, and he yelled out and aloud, "Go away!" And it moved closer to him. How do you get closer to somebody when you're spooning them? I moved closer to him, he turned and looked to see what was behind him, and he said he saw this being with glowing eyes, and it looked like it had a white sock over it. Over its face or over its junk. That's interesting. Lisa Marie Stucci, how you doing? She yelled so loud that start with my mom, and she came into the room and she said that when she looked at my dad, his eyes were the biggest saucers. He was horrified. Now, did they determine, was he dreaming? Or was it, because sometimes we have those kinds of dreams. I've had dreams that were, but I usually can tell the difference if I've dreamt something or if I've experienced something. So I can usually draw that line pretty distinctly. Just a thought. So, well, what's going on here? I got to sneeze, folks. That's what's going on here. That's what I'm talking about. So, what else is, who else has had some neat experiences like that? I know a lot of us have. We've talked about them. I talk about mine all the time. So, just curious to know. And I got something I'm trying to load up here too. I don't know if I can. We'll see what happens. Is that the final? No, that is. Yes, it is. Okay. So we'll give this a shot. Let's see if this works. Boom and boom. And I'm going to try. Yeah, there you go. All right. Not scintillating radio here, but it's trying to get something to work here. Boom. That replace. All right. So, not really as disjointed. Oh, Uncle Dave's here. I didn't have my window open. How you doing, Dave?
Uncle Dave's here.
Uncle Dave's here.
Hey, Scotty. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm all right. You're hearing it. You're seeing it. This is as good as it gets.
So I went out and I bought myself a phone mount thing for the desk so that I don't have to hold this thing, and have shaky cam. And I get it in there and it's all set. And I got the perfect camera and then the perfect picture, and then the suction cup lets go every time. And so it keeps falling.
Try the inertial dampener.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that. So it's got a bad motivator.
Speaking of that, if you guys have not seen Star Trek Picard, the 3rd season, I just watched the other night the latest episode of that. I don't know how many more they have. I think they only did 10 episodes for this, but I'm not sure. It's the final season of that.
Do you know what disappoints me the most about that?
What's that?
If they had done this season as the first season and built off of this plot line for 3 seasons, it would have been so much better. I didn't like the first season. I was mediocre about the second season, but boy, if they had...
season was not as good as the first, in my opinion, but then the 3rd season has been probably, by all counts, most counts, you're going to get social media people who like to bash everything, but most counts would tell you that the 3rd season of Star Trek Picard is the finest season of Star Trek since the original.
Yeah.
And it is. It meets
all. The Mandalorian has done the reverse. They started with an awesome season. The second season was sort of mediocre, and the 3rd season is just hit and miss.
Yeah.
But Kathleen Kennedy is back involved with it, and it's like, I don't know why they let that woman keep a job. Disney just fire that woman.
I don't know. Maybe she's made a lot of money for the company, and that's all they look at.
She must know where all the skeletons are buried.
Right. Elvis asked me, Scotty, what's your take on the new Bud Light spokesperson? I don't care, first of all. I really don't care. I've been boycotting Bud Light for 35 years.
Bud Light.
I've been boycotting Bud Light for 35, 40 years now. So it's swill. I think I've had one Bud Light in my life, and that's what determined I needed to take a better course, which was Guinness. And so I'll drink Guinness. I'll drink, I like a fat tire every now and then. I will drink Newkies.
Oh, yeah.
I like
the dog.
The Newcastle Brown Ale. I like Newcastles. Primarily, it's Guinness, and that's my go-to. Something dark,
a harpier in there,
bold, something that's going to take over.
A Bass occasionally, especially when mixed with a Guinness.
Bud Light, how they can call that beer is beyond me, and of course, I speak from opinion. So,
seriously, it was like a pale yellow rubbing alcohol, I think, when I drank the first time. I was like, yep, I'm not doing this.
It's like, and like I've said before, if it's yellow and I can see through it, I don't drink it.
As Captain Morgan would say, that ain't beer, but it's what beer looks like when I's done with it.
There it is. Yep. And so, in answer to your question, Elvis, my take on the new Bud Light thing, first of all, the beer, don't drink it. Would never drink it. It's swill. That's my first point. Now take that and set it aside. The woke marketing person that they got that thought this would be a great idea. One thing she did do is she put Bud Light on the lips of a lot of Americans that drink beer.
Yep, everybody's talking
That's
about
a good marketing tactic. However, when your marketing tactic ends with a drop in sales and a bunch of people, your supposed target audience,
and your number one job is to sell more beer, and you're selling less beer, you're
trying to sell more beer. You're trying to raise
Hello,
market
Ellery.
share. And when the opposite happens, it was a bad campaign. Why would you appeal to a bunch of rednecks who like drinking Bud Light and generally aren't all that involved in the transgender community? Why would you try to appeal to them with a simpering transgender pretending to be a woman?
You've completely missed your target market.
You've missed your target market. So that's my take on it, Elvis. I don't care if somebody, it's not you're just prejudiced against transgenders. That's what I tell you. You're just bitter. You don't like them. You're hateful and vile. You want to vilify them. No, I don't care. What it comes down to, you can do whatever you want in the privacy of your own home. If you walk around, if they allow it at work, meaning you don't look over the top at work and your employers don't go, you can't come dressed like that to work because you face the public. If you have no restrictions like that, then fine, more power to you. Go do whatever you want to do. But like I saw some guy, big redneck dude. I don't even know who he was. I just saw it on somebody's video. He was up there. He was throwing out the Effenheimer left and right. And he was very articulate, but he's a big biker looking guy, and he's kind of like, he says, I don't care. He says, you can live your own effing life. So I'm going to say effing because if I say it too many times, I might get flagged. He says, you can live your own effing lifestyle. I don't give an effing flying F what you want to do with your own time and with your own life. Ain't my business. He says, I stay out of your business. He says, remember, you brought this to us, this whole woke transgender thing. He says, you guys brought this to us. We didn't bring it to you. We weren't trying to go out of our way. Okay, thank you. You're eating candy.
Bye, Ellery.
That's my child. Mom left, meaning she was taking Rowan to get her pictures shot. Mom left, and I'm upstairs eating candy. I'm like, okay, see ya. I think Raini fed her a good breakfast first. So I don't care what anybody wants to do with their life. I might look at it and go, you're fucking weird. You have some kind of emotional problem. You have some kind of emotional dysphoria, sexual dysphoria, whatever it might be. Since when is that a normal thing to have? If I believe I'm a dog and should I be accepted? I don't even want to get into the minutia of that argument. All of that to say, I don't care. But if you attempt to push your dysphoria or the things that you do in private on the rest of us to make us more woke, you'll get resistance. And that's what happened with the Bud Light campaign. It's like, we don't need you putting a transgender on the can of the beer I drink. I'll go drink another beer. I don't need that shoved in my face. So somebody thought who was woke. Now, all the Bud Light ad campaign it was an exercise in wokeness and trying to make the rest of the world more woke as they are. And it's like, that ain't woke, folks. Don't try to shove your stuff on me. What if we decided to put Jesus on a can of Bud Light?
Here, I look at it like this. Your job is not to push your personal agenda. Your job is to sell more beer.
That's it.
And you're selling less beer. You've caused a major drop in sales on a national brand that's been there for over 100 years.
Exactly.
So you failed at your job.
Yeah. So thank you for playing. I wonder if she's going to keep her job.
I don't know. I'd fire her.
I would too. Well, I wouldn't have let her do that if I were in charge of her.
Nobody in the upper echelon in that company said, Well, I don't know. This could be a problem.
Yeah.
It's not our target market.
Right. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. I was going to play that. We were talking about that song or about Vimy Ridge, and there was that song from Tanglefoot. It just loaded and it just popped up. That's what it likes to do in StreamYard. So, guys, I had to throw a graphic into it, and it saved it. It's just with the graphic for the Intrepid rocket. Dave knows this song. We used to stand when Tanglefoot would sing this song. We'd be in our red coats and our kilts, and we were at the big dance, the paddle dance and things like that, all the rendezvous stuff after hours. And they would sing this song, and all of us from the regiment, we'd all take off our bonnets and we'd listen to this song. It was a very moving song. Now, I did my own version of this, and I'd like to redo this sometime. I did it with no real good recording equipment. I did this about, I don't know, we were in Ellsworth when I did this, so this could be 10 years old by now. But I told you the way they sang it was a cappella, and they had one voice a cappella singing the verses, and then the 4 or 5 of them would gather and do all the harmonies, really tight harmonies. So I did that myself, and I recorded it on several tracks. And I'm going to play it for you so you can hear the song. This is without a copyright infringement. This is my version of it. I could sing it right here, but you wouldn't get the harmony. Now, I'm going to put in a disclaimer as I play this video. This was a rough first time shot I ever tried doing this without decent studio equipment. I just had a soundboard. I didn't have the tracks and the different mics and all that stuff. And I didn't have the headset on. I think I had an earbud in or something when I recorded it, so I could hear the other parts. And I just sang all the parts of harmony. Shh, shh. And you can come and say hi, but you can't come in antics on the camera. So, like that. What can I do for you?
Nothing. I want to show them the video of Lucy.
Why do you want to show a video of Lucy?
The ready, get, steady, go.
Oh, well, they have this thing they do with the dog. They can't see that.
Yep, it's too small.
Here.
Too small, Ellie Belly.
They got this thing. They say to the dog, that's a Lucy fur. She's not doing anything.
Yeah, she's growling. Can you not hear that?
Can't you hear the growling? There you go. So, Rainy and Ellie showed me that last night. They have the dog and they go, Lucy, sweet dog. But as soon as Rainy will say, ready, she says to the dog goes, Rawr. She goes, Seti, go. And the dog just attacks her like a pit bull. Doesn't hurt her, and her tail's wagging the whole time. Just like a machine. So, yeah, put that on YouTube. You get 1 million views. So here, I'm going to play you this song, but I want to put in a disclaimer. It's not perfect by any means. I don't always match the parts very well, and so it's a little choppy in places. But I want you to hear this song. This is that song I described about the World War I vet and his 2 friends. And so I'm going to throw this on. Yeah, she had too much sugar. Yeah, she's eating candy up there. So I'm going to have to go put up a shebang on that pretty quick. Because that kid will eat candy all day.
Yeah.
All day. Oh, I don't want any of the food you cook. Oh, steak? No thanks. I'm not hungry.
I'll eat some more jelly beans, though.
I ate too many jelly beans. Okay, so I'm going to play the song. This is me doing all 4 parts. But listen to the words of this song. And I know Dave likes this song. We all loved this song.
So
with the
get
regiment.
to the song.
What?
You're like one of those videos that I'm going to sell you something. I'm going to spend 20 minutes telling you about it. I'm not going to actually show you the video. I want you to watch the video. Then I'm going to play a half-hour video, and I'm still not going to get to the product until the very end.
Oh, God, what happened to Dave? Where did he go? Lost Dave. Here we go. Here it goes. Ask, aim your rifles high. Here, let me start. Raise your flask. Aim your rifles high. I've had a dream I've seen we three should have no fear at all. You'll die in Kenora, Billy. You Jim in Winnipeg. And I will end my days in Montreal. These people come to see me in my bedroom, with faces dim and names I can't recall. Some woman with a golden ring, she comes to comb my hair. Then she dresses me and walks me down the hall. I can still put one foot before the other if someone points the way for me to go. Today the sun is shining and a crowd has gathered round. They put circles of red flowers on stones. Raise your flask. Aim your rifles high. I've had a dream I've seen we three should have no fear at all. You'll die in Kenora, Billy. You Jim in Winnipeg. And I will end my days in Montreal. Jimmy Rankin stood behind me in the tunnel, spat on his bayonet and wiped it with his hand. He rocked from heel to heel, blew out his cheeks and whistled, while we waited for the signal to advance. Jimmy Rankin was only 20, and we thought him an old man. He said he'd fathered children by the score, by girls back home in Winnipeg and girls in Calais. And he bragged, by God, there'd be 100 more. Raise your flask, aim your rifles high. I've had a dream I've seen we three should have no fear at all. You'll die in Kenora, Billy. You Jim in Winnipeg. And I will end my days in Montreal. Billy Whitefish from Kenora, jet black hair and eyes like coal. We all called him Chief behind his back. He never smiled or laughed or joked or spoke that much at all. He just sat and smoked while we waited to attack. They poured shells over our heads into the hillside. In 30 yards our kitten boots were full of mud. But as we made the ridge, Jimmy went down on both knees, and he coughed into his sleeve, and there was blood. Raise your flask, aim your rifles high. I've had a dream I've seen we three should have no fear at all. You'll die in Kenora, Billy. You Jim in Winnipeg. And I will end my days in Montreal. The last sound I ever heard was an explosion, and bodies flew like apples thrown by boys at play. When I could see again, I was alone. Jimmy wasn't there, and a crater marked the hillside where he'd lain. Billy Whitefish from Kenora wound up in a German trench where he captured their machine gun all alone. And he held them off until his ammunition was all spent. Then they swarmed around and they hacked him to the bone. Raise your flask, aim your rifles high. I've had a dream I've seen we three should have no fear at all. You'll die in Kenora, Billy, you Jim in Winnipeg, and I will end my days in Montreal. Now every day I still remember what I told them, my two friends who that day from this earth were torn, and the craters and the trenches where they died now bear the names of the cities and the towns where they were born. Raise your flask, aim your rifles high. I've had a dream I've seen we three should have no fear at all. You'll die in Kenora, Billy, you Jim in Winnipeg, and I will end my days in Montreal. All right, there you go. That was, since we were talking about it, no copyright on my version of that song. There's no YouTube video to copyright infringe. Let's put it that way. So that was very moving song, and about Vimy Ridge. And one of these days, maybe I'll re-record that with better equipment. Rocky was going to do that for me, and we never got around to it. But yeah, Susie Q, that was just a few years ago in my own studio, and sometime in the last 6, 7, 8 years. I don't know how long ago it was. So no, it was not the younger me. I'm younger by only a few years. So
yeah, still a younger you.
I could still do that.
Sure you could. Sure you could.
Anyway, there you go. Thank you, everybody.
That's the beauty of recordings like that. There's no gray hair scene or
right
anything like that.
Right. And so yeah, now let's play it backwards for the hidden messages, says Field Guy. Satan wants to come and invade your life. So anyway,
backmasking.
I started the show a younger me. Yes, I did. Yes, I'm decaying in front of your eyes.
We're all slowly moving through time. We're all dying. It just takes time.
Probably swiftly when you think about it. Think about the grand scheme of the cosmos and how what a blip on not a blip on a blip on a blip of the radar we are. And so interesting. Time is short. I was at Quick Trip, the gas station, doing my my off hours job that I just started to earn some extra cash, and I'm wondering if it's really worth it. I got my first paycheck Friday.
Yeah,
$62.
Oh my God! Why?
Why trying to not spend it all on one tank of gas?
Yeah, why are you wasting your time for $62?
Well, that's what it feels like. Well, that was also my first week where I only did a couple of days, and they've only got me on part-time until my first 90-day prohibition period, and to make sure that I can handle the job and I'm competent enough.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I got to spend, I was there 6 hours yesterday morning, and I got to work the cash register. If Dave would walk in, I go, "Hey, good morning." You know, I see a lot of these. There were two high school boys, seniors in high school, that were working the other cash registers, and a couple of the older women that are there. But the two high school boys and I were on most of the time, and they're like, you know, somebody would approach the cash register. They go, "You have gas outside? Okay." Beep, beep, beep. And they ring them up. Thanks. See you next time. You got to say, "See you next time." That's a thing they taught in the training. Say something like, "See you next time," so everybody says it.
Yeah.
Me, I like to be like Dave, you and I were out on the street at the Renaissance Festival. And I'm like, they start walking toward my cash register. They're in line. I go, hey, I can take the next person over here. And I use that voice. And they come over and I go, hey, how you doing this morning? How you doing this morning? That's great. How great. How are you? And they all smile when I do that. I haven't had anybody react badly. And if there's anything I can strike up a conversation on, like yesterday, you know how you get those kind of mocha drinks and they've got the rounded top plastic things, but they're open on the top so you can put a spoon in them. Well, I'm ringing it up and I'm turning it around and I take it to move it and I put my thumb right down through the whipped cream and I go, oh man. I said, I have just thumbed and it was a little girl with her parents. I said, I've just thumbed your drink. And I said, if you were my kid, I'd make you drink it and not waste my money. I said, but I tell you what, you just go back and get yourself another one. I'm going to dump this one. And I said, just go make another one. We're good. And I licked off my thumb and I go, ooh, caramel. And so, you do that. And then when they're all done, I said, hey, you're good to go. I said, get out of here now. We'll see you next time. And, so I treat people that way at the cash register because I always hated going into my experience in the last 20 years, especially has been, I remember one McDonald's experience. I was dating Lindsay at the time. We went into a McDonald's. So we're talking 20 years ago. And there was a kid, high school kid, skinny high school kid, and he's eating something behind the cash register. And that's fine. I don't care if somebody wants to pop something in there, Oh, hey, sorry, just put something in my, if I ever did that, I'd say, oh, hey, I'm sorry. I just popped something in my mouth. Let me swallow that. But he comes up and he's got his hands have got grease on him or something. And so I walk up to the cash register to place my order for Big Mac or whatever. And he's standing there like this with his hands up because he had put food in his mouth. And he doesn't even look me in the eye. He doesn't say a word. And he's looking at he's got his hands poised over the cash register like, and he looks up at me like, you going to order something? He doesn't say a word. He doesn't greet me. And I looked at him and I was trying to be good natured about it. And I said, hey, I'm your regional district manager. And I said, I was just coming in to check about how you greet clients when they come in. And I said, part of your job. And I said, no, I'm not really your manager. I said, but I said, don't you know that part of your job is making your customers feel welcome when they come in? I said, standing like this with food on your hands, poised over the cash register and not saying a word of greeting to me makes me want to go somewhere else, except I'm craving the Big Mac more than I'm craving driving to a different restaurant. And people around me started clapping. I said, thank you. Thank you. That's what Renaissance Festival did for Dave and I. We can be out in public and you can say something and people go, hey, I like that. You go, thank you. Thank you. You too.
I'm not afraid to be a dick if I need to be a dick.
Yeah. So, but that always bothered me. And I thought, if you want to increase your business, McDonald's doesn't need so much, to get their name out there. Everybody knows they're there. They're fighting now the negative campaigning, which is McDonald's food sucks and it's too damn expensive.
Wow. But they're replacing those stupid high school kids with robots.
Right. Oh yeah, the one totally automated McDonald's now. Now we don't need to have employees anymore.
Would you like fries with that?
Good morning. You are looking rather sassy this morning. Would you like fries with that? And so one of my big things, if you're going to be in a public setting where you're greeting the public and you're selling to the public, you're not just a guy in the back room sitting on a cash register and you don't see people's faces. If you're going to see somebody's face, you make them feel welcome. Hey, welcome to the place. But most of these kids, at the time were working for $4.50 an hour 20 years ago. And what do they care? And because part of that training should be, hey, you put your best self forward. Well, it's not my restaurant. Why should I have to do that? Because you're working there. They're paying you to do that. And I just saw, it just popped into my mind. Yesterday, I ran across a clip of John Hamm as Don Draper in Mad Men. If any of you watched that show about advertising agencies in the 60s. and there was the young woman there, and it opens up. He's kind of yelling at her. No, he is yelling at her. He's kind of pissed off at her. And the first thing he says in this little video clip, he says, "Because I pay you." And she kind of looks back. He goes, well, I should be recognized for what I did. He says, "You are recognized for what you did. You make a damn good salary." He says, "I'm recognized." Now, we might disagree with his, everybody needs personal praise, but he says, "The praise I give you is that I hired you for your abilities to do a job. You make this agency shine. You did a great job, and you're being compensated fantastically for your work." Now, there is that aspect of it. McDonald's, you might not be compensated fantastically for showing up to McDonald's to ring up people's French fries and Shamrock malts in March. But you go there, and it's the idea that, again, that fish philosophy, being there, bringing your attitude with you, or bringing the right attitude with you, making somebody else's day. When you are there and you're promoting whatever company you're working for, number one, you signed on that dotted line to work for that company for the amount of money they said they were going to pay you. That's a contract. You have contracted to give your best work to that company, not get there and go, "Well, I don't feel like it today, and so I'm not going to greet anybody." When you can't do that. You're representing the company.
Yep.
Like I said to that kid, if I'd have been your district manager, I'd have probably had you pulled aside. And
it's the way these kids are taught in school. There's no consequences for their actions, so they don't.
Right.
They just don't
Elderberry,
understand.
I've had McDonald's once a year in the last 2 years, and my kids want it all the time. I get
You don't like chewing gum in your sandwich?
No, I don't like chewing gum in my sandwich with the wrapper wrapped around it.
Yeah. Well, they were trying to,
Yeah. But my kids, and it's rare, maybe once every 3 or 4 months, the kids will ask if we can get a McDonald's. I'll say no. McDonald's sucks. But when you're a 13-year-old and you have a Big Mac twice a year, that's not going to ruin your metabolism. Maybe for the day, but not in general. So, man, when I was that age, when I was in high school and college, pizza and McDonald's, that's all we ate, it seemed. And it wasn't until I got a little older that I realized I can't eat that every day. And but the point I'm making is that when I'm at the gas station, I was on the cash register yesterday morning, and first thing I hate, I got to wear a uniform. The light blue quick trip shirt with the black pants. That's all right. Looks okay. I didn't go out and spend money on getting, one of the nice little zipper vests or black zipper vest or the black zipper sweater with the long sleeves. I didn't invest the money in that yet because I don't know how long I'm going to want to be there.
Well, there goes your first paycheck if you do.
Right. Well, and you got to buy your own clothes, but they allow you $46. The manager took me, "Here, you're going to order a shirt over on this shop here." Okay, cool. And so I went in. You've got $46 you're allowed, and you have to wear a uniform. So they give you $46. And I go into the shop, and she said you can pick any 2 items, but you're up to a $46 limit. And what I found is you can't get 2 items for $46. So you have to punch in your credit card. I said, "Is there anything in here? Can I get any 2 items for under 46? And she said, "Probably not." So maybe they ought to raise that amount. See, now I'm coming from the outside and starting this job. Some people won't say boo if, what did my mom used to tell me? You won't say shit if your mouth was full of it. So I have no problems talking to the manager as an equal. I say I might not be equal in position in this company, but I'm equal as a person and probably have a hell of a lot more experience than you do. So I use that vein when I talk to them. I don't talk down to anybody. I'm always polite and professional. But I said, "Wow." And I said, you ought to change that policy. And I said, if you're requiring people to wear certain clothing, I said, but they got to buy it. I said, well, you're allowed the $46. So I got 1 shirt is what I did. And I got the long sleeve button down Oxford broadcloth blue dress shirt. I can roll up the sleeves, and it's got the little quick trip on the tit here.
Yep.
On the crest on And but you got to tuck your shirt in. I haven't tucked in a shirt for 20 years, except when I'm wearing a suit and tie. And
Always
I'm like,
tuck
oh
your
boy.
shirts.
So I don't like tucking in my shirt. So I've been that way. I roll up my pant legs and go barefoot and leave my shirt untucked all year round. So except when I go outside or wear a suit. So anyway, we ordered that. So I'm at the cash register yesterday morning. This was my day yesterday. Couple hours on the cash register. How you doing? Hey, great. Have a good day. See you next time. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And, you spar with people a little bit. And not spar, you talk with people. And then from there, the lead said, Mary, she's an older woman, not elderly by any means, but older woman. And she said, why don't you, I'm going to have, she said, I'm going to take you back and show you how to load up the milk, the glass doors and stuff.
Yeah,
from
the
cooler. And I said, okay. Should put on a jacket. It's cold in there. And by the way, I froze my hands off in there. But so I loaded up all the milk. She showed me how to get started and where to pull them from. And so how to organize them if you got leftover and how to put the old ones up first. So you sell the older dates first. And we pull things that are past date. They're very meticulous. I got to say, Quick Trip, their food service is really good. They're meticulous about the food stuff. But so I loaded up the milk freezer. So, and the whole time I'm saying, okay, let's see, 1% gallons go here, 2% half gallons go here. Oh, chocolate milk's over here. I'm doing that and going through my mind is, let's see, I got my master's degree for this. But anyway.
No, you got your master's degree to do art and teach theology and stuff like that. This is just a way to make some money.
It's just a way to make some money. So I finish all of that and I do a stellar job. And then the lead, I came out a little later. She closed out her cash register, which is the one I work on, the lead register, because I'm in training. And she goes, I just wanted to let you know. She said, your till came out at 0. She says, not one missing penny even off. And she said, you did a perfect job this morning. I said, why, thank you. I knew I was capable of that. and I said, I appreciate that. Thank you. And, now that's minor. That's a little minuscule version in the vast cosmos we dwell in.
You have no idea how hard it is. Some of these kids have so much trouble getting the till straight.
I know.
And if the till goes down, they can't count change back, I owe you 75 cents from $1, and they're like,
See, and now the interesting thing, these cashiers do it all for you.
I know. There's no way not to screw it up. But
if somebody buys something for $13.42 and they hand you a 20, you can go, that's $6.52 you get back. I can do that in my head, but I don't have to. I just you hit the till cash and they handed me a 20, you put in the 20, boom, enter, and it goes, you owe them $6 and whatever. So so it's easy now. Rapid Dog is getting a quarter pounder with cheese meal deal and a McChicken today. Well, you enjoy that. Rapid Dog. How old are you, Rapid Dog? I'm curious if you want to share that. Are you a young man buying McDonald's? Are you an old man buying McDonald's? A middle-aged man? I'm just curious. How does McDonald's sit in your gullet these days? So, after I stocked the cooler with milk, went on the cash register for a little while more. Then we're going to have Mike take you around and do the safety check all around. He's the safety guru there. You got to walk around to all of the pumps and hit every one of the pumps there's a special card to clean out the card sliders. And you got to check them for skimmers. Skimmers now, they'll put little devices on there that match the look of the thing, only it just extends out a little more, or fake keypads, and it reads your card. And he said, this store, I've only found a couple of them in the last year. But so he has to do that and check them all. And we had to check all the garbages and walk around, do the tour, make sure everything's working right. All the salt water for the car wash, or not salt water, soft water, blah, 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 blah. So I did that for a while, walking around outside. And that was cool. And then back in the last hour and a half, I was on cash register again. So I look at that and I go, this is not what I do. This is not what I do. But I'm doing it. So I use that fish philosophy. You bring the first rule of the fish philosophy out of the Pike Place market, which went into business management and talking to companies and so on, was being there. It's like, how many people do you know you're at a manual job or a job you don't like? You got to punch somebody else's clock. You're like, I'd rather be fishing. I'd rather be, owning my own company or doing whatever I do, or I'd rather have that dream job. But instead, you're at Quick Trip making $18.50 an hour, which is crazy compared to what I made when I was a kid. But I don't think it goes as far as the $4 did when I was a kid. So, but you're doing that and you bring your being there. I'm there. I'm present. You be present. And then you bring your attitude. And I don't care what kind of, I felt shitty yesterday morning. Like, I don't want to 8 o'clock in the morning. I got to get dressed in this uniform and show up at work and be nice.
Got to be bright and cheery.
But I did it. I was bright and sunshiny. I might find a new client through the line, maybe. Well, you know what I'm hoping is our Patriot propaganda site takes off the way everybody in the know seems to be telling us is going to take off. If that happens, knock on wood, don't want to jinx it, that could change things dramatically. So sometimes I want to pull a Clark Griswold at Chick-fil-A on a Sunday. There you go. Yeah. That would be funny. Or who was the guy, the Michael Douglas movie, Falling Down?
Yeah, Falling Down.
Started as it was kind of blackish comedy, but that thing got pretty dark, that movie.
Yeah.
But he goes into the McDonald's-like restaurant, or maybe it was McDonald's, and he freaks the fuck out because I'm sorry, it's 9:36, sir. We end breakfast at 9:30. Because you told me that, well, it was like 3 minutes in the movie or something like that. He goes, you still can't serve me a breakfast sandwich because I'm 3 minutes late? I've been standing in line for 5 minutes to get my breakfast sandwich. And he just goes nuts. So you have to watch that. What am I missing here? Elvis, I just got one. Is still not enough. Tell them you want a raise. Oh, yeah. I should tell them that at 90 days. I should say, I've been here 90 days. I think I deserve a raise now. Maybe they'll give me my performance review and they go, oh, you just don't get it. Your mind is elsewhere.
Maybe they'll give you a white shirt.
In. Yeah, I'll get a white shirt. No, so far I've got the blue shirt. So I look fantastic in powder blue. At least I get to wear black pants and my combat boots. So I don't know. Wearing a little golf shirt with the 3 buttons, short sleeve, and it's broadcloth kind of fabric, so it's nice. It's not clingy. Wearing that and tucking it into my pants shows me how much I'm not in shape. So it's like, you really think this is the best foot forward for customers, seeing me in this shirt like this with my?
Did you not buy the right size shirt?
It's the right size shirt. It's not blousy enough. So anyway, they'll give you some buttons to wear. Advertise the store. There's your bonus. Boom. Hey, you've made it to 90 days.
That reminds me of the Office
about our hash browns
movie with Jennifer Aniston and her bling. You're not wearing your bling.
I remember that movie she was in with, was it? It was an early movie they did with Adam Sanders. She was some girl he was trying to date, and there was a scene, she's in workout shorts, and she's on top of him, and her butt goes up in the air, and I think every guy dropped his spoon, or his cup. It's like, oh my God. Her butt in workout shorts, nonetheless. So, they're doing a new movie together. They're doing a second one. They did some movie that was actually pretty darn funny.
Is that Murder Mystery?
Yeah, where he was a cop, and they're on a cruise. He and his wife, Jennifer Aniston's his wife, And they get involved in a murder mystery, and he plays himself up to be I'm an investigator, I'm a detective, when he's just a cop. But now they're doing a second one of those. I actually kind of want to see that. My wife loves Adam Sandler's movies. Oh, I got to tell you, I thought the best Adam Sandler's movie I ever saw, and it appealed to the romantic in me, it appealed to the passions in me, was that 50 First Dates. Did you ever see that? 50
First Dates with Drew Barrymore. Yeah.
With Drew Barrymore. That was a sweet movie. I really enjoyed that. So
my favorite of his with her is The Wedding Singer still.
With her or him?
Both of them.
Oh, was she in that? I don't remember.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the movie I'm thinking of. The Wedding.
No. 50 First Dates. That was their second one.
No. The one with Jennifer Aniston.
No. Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler with 50 First Dates.
Adam Sandler, grumpy stack. He'll be a dick.
Yeah.
In an affectionate, funny way.
I knew you were wrong. I was just not pointing it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoyed 50 First Dates.
I get tired of
watch
correcting
a
you
good
when you're
movie
wrong,
with your wife or your girlfriend, or girls usually can't entice guys into chick flicks unless there's a promise of sex at the end.
I thought you were going to say Chick-fil-A. I thought you were going to say Chick-fil-A.
Unless there's a promise of Chick-fil-A at the end.
Girls just can't entice guys into a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, really.
I always want to go to Burger King or something.
Yeah. Hey, if you watch this movie with me, this chick flick with me, I'll take you to Chick-fil-A. Ooh. Well, I'm on. How long's the movie? I'm hungry now. Can we get the Chick-fil-A first so I have something to eat during the movie?
Yeah. Be a good woman and make me a sandwich.
That's like the late Brent Wold, a friend of ours from the festival and other places, historic stuff. He said to me once, we were on the road with Three Celts and Company, and he came along with us to do his blacksmithy stuff. And he got off the phone with his wife. We were gone for like 5 days, and he says, yeah, my wife, she's all excited to have me come home. She's going to want to cuddle. He says, I'm going to come home. My wife's going to want to cuddle and snuggle. He says, I just like to say to her, hey, can we have sex first? And then I'll cuddle with you the rest of the night. So he says, get the sex part out of the way. Then we can cuddle and snuggle all you want the rest of the night. Field guy says, food me. 2 hours of nonsense later. Yeah. And you know who I like in all the Sandler's movies is why I just had his name in my head.
Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider, yeah.
Yeah. The roles he plays in those movies, he's outstanding. He plays a Hawaiian in 50 First Dates and a Tongan type of guy, so. When Adam Sandler fought the Buddhist monk, boy, what a scene. Jack urges Adam to fight. I don't remember that one. What was that one in?
Is that in Anger Management?
Or was it Zohan, the Great Zohan, or something like that?
Oh, that's a good film too. And
that was all right. Mr.
Happy
Deeds.
Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
One of my favorite golf films of all time.
He got into that contract with Netflix that I think a Field guy mentioned above. And he did some doggy movies for Netflix a couple of years ago. He was like one where was he a jewel dealer in New York City and ends up getting shot in the head in the end. Oh, spoiler alert. So it was atypical for him. So
atypical.
He was the Asian preacher when Sander and Kevin James married each other. Which movie was that? Oh, was that the firemen that married each other for tax purposes or something? Was that Sandler in that? I don't remember. Oh, that was with what's her name? She was really big a while back. You don't see much of her now. Her name
Sandra
started
Bullock?
with a B. No. Her name started with a B. It'll come to you. She's hot. And she thinks he's gay because he's playing gay. And she goes, "Oh, you won't mind this. I got to change my shirt, or some whatever the scene was." She takes off her shirt and she's wearing a bra and is just kapow. And she goes, "How do you think this looks on me?" He goes, "Oh, icky." I just remember that scene. Oh, that's icky. Yeah. Oh, put something on. I can't remember her name. So anyway, I veered off of whatever our topic was.
Yeah. Did we have a topic?
No. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I can't remember it.
I think I'm going to paint today. It's gloomy out. It's overcast and cold and damp, and it's not good. I don't understand how we can have an 80-degree day and the next day they're talking about snowfall.
I know. Well, it was 92 here the other day over here. Friday. Thursday. Yeah. Friday it started to get a little cooler on Friday. Went down into the 70s, and Saturday, the high was 42 degrees yesterday.
And it got downright cold.
Yep, it was cold.
I haven't been wearing my coat at all, but it was rainy when I left in the morning. It was still warm, but it was rainy. And I thought, you know what? I'll throw the leather jacket in just because, it could pour more, and I don't want to get soaked. So thank God I did.
Sandra, you said about 10 minutes ago, you said it's 11:30 a.m. where I live. You live in London, don't you? Wouldn't it be like 5 in the afternoon where you are? 4 in the afternoon? 11:30 where you are. Interesting. Where are you today?
Well, it's 10:30 here when she said that, so she's an hour.
It would have been 4:30 in the afternoon. She lives in London.
She must not be there. Maybe she's in Canada.
Are you not in London today, Sandra?
Are you in Canada?
We had tornado warnings yesterday, said the field guy. Yeah, you're down in Louisiana. You're going to get hurricaned out somewhere along the way here.
We could, the way the temperature fell, I'm surprised we didn't get a tornado.
Yeah, a dramatic drop in temp.
Whenever you have that really hot and you drop to that really cold, where that cold front comes through.
Let's see.
Either that or you get a
Siri, what's the 5-day weather forecast?
Between today and Thursday, the weather will start out with snow, then rain.
80% chance of snow today. It's going to be 39 as our high today. 45 tomorrow, 52 Tuesday, 47 on Wednesday, 46 on Thursday. We don't even get out of the 40. Well, we go up to 52 on Tuesday.
But this is Minnesota. It's hot all week while you're in the office.
Bipolar.
But on the weekend, we're going to drop the temperatures down to the 30s and 40s, so you can't go to the lake and have a good time or go camping or do anything fun.
So put that away. So it's going to be a cool week. I was liking the 80s. That was doing well because it wasn't humid yet.
Yeah.
There could be some snow this week.
Thank you.
What did she say?
There could be some snow this week. Why, thank you, Siri.
No problem.
No problem. It was no problem for her.
So I have a personal assistant on my phone. And I don't know what. She was telling me something, and I lost my temper with her. She wasn't answering the questions that I was asking. And I just had a little bit of a tirade and dropped a few F-bombs at her. And then she shut up. And I didn't think anything of it. Like a week later, I'm at Lodge. Phone is laying on the table. And somebody said something that I didn't hear. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. And before I could finish, I didn't hear what you said. The phone said, that's all right. I'm sure part of it was my fault.
Nice.
And I'm like, you've been giving me the silent treatment for a week because I didn't say I'm sorry.
All week long, waiting for your opening.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, Minnesota forecast snow every day after 80s and 90s. So that's just the way it does. That's like in the middle of the winter, the flip of that. You're going from, 20 below zero and snow and ice. And all of a sudden, one day it's 42. And you go, whoa, and everything melts and it's great. And the sun feels great because it's the middle of winter. And then the next day it goes back down to 18 below. Everything freezes and it's all hell breaks loose. So.
Yep. Why do we live where it's so cold our face hurts? Why do we do that?
Steph likes sunny and hot so she can keep her base tan going for when she goes to Bike Week in South Carolina.
She does.
In May. Yeah, I need to get a tan. Look at my sickly pallor.
Yeah, it could just be a hot spot from the lights.
It is. I have a little more color. 90 caught me off guard, said Randall. Can we go back to the 60 weather, please? Yeah. She from LDN.
I'd be happy with 65 to 70 every day.
I could have 60, 65 degrees year round. Wouldn't bother me. So, and no humidity. Low humidity. Let's see. Elvis says, at least we have a good football season. Good football team. Skull!
Have they started playing football? Is it football season?
No, that doesn't happen until August, Dave.
Okay. Well, how okay.
Football?
What?
Let's see. Hot flash, said Rapid Dog. So, guys, it's 3 minutes to 11. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to wrap it.
Awesome. I'm going to go make breakfast for the folks and get them out of bed.
Right on. I'm going to have to go wean my kid off of candy for the day.
I don't have to drive anywhere today. I'm super happy.
Nice. That says, yeah, I don't have to go anywhere today. I got to finish about 12 little graphics for the website that the guy's missing, and easy stuff, easy peasy, changing a color on something. And then I'm done with that. So then tomorrow morning, bright and early, it's back trip for 6 hours tomorrow. So pretty soon they're going to start putting me on nights for my night shift because I signed up and said, hey, sure, I'll do full-time overnights. I can do that. So that'll be interesting when that starts. Hopefully other things will happen, and that won't ever have to happen. So I did it for the money. So that's all I got, folks, for today. Uncle Dave, you have a fun day. Go feed the parents.
Say hi to the kids and the wife.
Will do. Bye. See you later, brother. All right, and everybody else, thank you for being here today. Elvis has left the building. Send all the 90-degree weather to me. I'll take it, says Steph. We'll take it. I'd like to just keep it. I was just fine with the hot. So, live long and prosper, says Sandra. Yes, we're getting there. So, nothing good happens after midnight, says Rapid Dog. That's right. Except 6 a.m. when I'll be done. When I go to that shift. So, all right, everybody, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for giving me your time. Again, Sunday's a nothing show. Just talking over Sunday morning coffee. And so I wish you the best day possible, and everyone live long and prosper.